to the stage here in the women's 71B, and we'll just let the introductions happen. We'll be back after that.
Representing New Zealand, Samantha Hansen. Representing Japan, Fujita Akane. Representing Canada, Gina Billen. Representing New Zealand, Piper Gwen.
So one of two New Zealand athletes in this section.
Representing Indonesia, Europa Nalsandi. Representing Italy, Alicia Durante. And representing Mongolia, Uljisaken Saladugi. These are your athletes for the women's 71 kilogram B session.
The two New Zealand athletes competing, they have opening attempts that are similar, so the New Zealand team will have an opportunity to manage the clock best by having those two stay.
From Indonesia, and Durante from Italy, and Ulisakan from Mongolia.
Uzi Saikan, yes, from Mongolia.
Uzi Saikan?
Uzi Saikan is my understanding, from Mongolia. She's opening with one of the heaviest weights in the snatch portion.
So we've got Hansen, Samantha Hansen from New Zealand. She'll make her first attempt in the women's 71B. And she's got 71 kilos on the bar.
Always great to start with a good lift in any session. It bodes well.
Yeah, and one of the interesting contrasts that we've seen between the men and the women is that the women have tended to go clean early and make that first lift, possibly entering with a bit of a safer weight. Some of the men really struggled yesterday to get even one lift on the board.
Well, there was a recent rule change where the athlete had to be within a certain weight of their entry total. And it used to be different for women and men. 15 kilos for women, 20 kilos for men. They've adjusted that for women so that it's the same for everybody. So the women now have 20 kilos of their entry total. So they do have a little more flexibility, and maybe it's just we're seeing them taking advantage of that.
So Gwen from New Zealand, also 71 kilos on the bar, her first lift in the women's 71 kilo snatch.
That was a solid lift once again.
Looked like she had to work, when we see the replay here, a little bit harder at the bottom than her teammate Hansen, but she made it comfortably.
Yeah, there was no movement to the sides. Here we go, off the hips, straight overhead. Not really behind her ears, more over them, but at least from this angle. But yeah, stood up clean.
Yeah, she just had a little shuffle of her right foot there, sort of back and forth from toe to heel, but she got out of that very nicely.
And this is the New Zealand coaching staff using this as an opportunity to work the clock. So they'll keep her on this clock at 72 kilos for a while, and then they'll switch over and start the clock for the other athlete. So they're going to try and milk this for the best they can to get their athlete as much time as possible. They're going to slow this right down so that they can use this to their advantage.
Yeah, that's probably important, especially given the heat and the fact that these two girls are probably going to go back to back with their 3 lifts in the snatch, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's and when I saw them out there early, sitting in the warm-up area, it did appear that they were a little warm. So this is giving them a chance to try and kind of ameliorate that situation. So like I said, the athletes have now changed. We've gone back to Hansen with 73 kilos. So a fresh 1-minute clock, and I don't expect that we will this will be the final take on this bar because nobody's moving. So they know that they've got more changes and more strategic opportunities to try and buy everybody more time.
Yeah, this should be a reasonably comfortable lift for Hansen. We've seen it switch now to Gwen as Hansen's taken 75. Hansen lifted 77 kilos in the 69 kilo class at the Oceania Senior Championships last year, so the 75 should be well within her reach.
So now the clock has moved back to Gwen at 74 kilos, so that they'll let that take at least for a little while before she comes out.
Less familiar territory here for Gwen. Her best competition lift in the snatch is 63 kilos, even though that's a couple of years ago at the Commonwealth Youth Championship. So she was also in the 69 kilo class. She's moved up to this new 71 kilo class. This is her first attempt at 74 kilos.
Again, you could tell, but the smile came before she stood up. She was confident with that.
Yeah, she just had that little grin as it. She knew she had that.
Yeah. Now her teammates here is calling for 75 kilos. She may come out right away at the 75. So, and then they'll play the same time game between the between the second attempts and the third, to again get them to the time that they want them to go out at. You don't often have an opportunity to play that game, but because both athletes are literally back to back with nobody else asking for similar weights, they can manipulate the situation.
So we're with Samantha Hansen. This is her second lift in the snatch, first attempt at 75 kilograms. She looked very strong.
Yeah, again, she makes it look a little easier than Gwen does, but it's the same weight, just different techniques, different body styles, and we get a side view here, very quick. Again, she caught it a little out front, but she was quick to stand up with it, so it was easy for her to bring it back into balance.
Yeah, and just that very small step forward to find her feet. So we'll have a bit of a waiting game here. We see Hansen on 76 kilos is listed as the next lifter, but I've got no doubt that'll change. Gwen has upped her lift to, she's moved up to 78 kilos. So just wait and see what Samantha Hansen would do. What would you expect her to go up to here? Maybe 79 kilos by that little bit of extra time?
And now, because they've gone up, they've actually met the rest of the group. They'll just naturally have more time, as they're going to call the Japanese athlete here at 78 kilos. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to come out either. She may have entered a low opener, but at least we'll hear their name. The bar will be loaded, and then they can decide whether they want to go or not. Same thing with Mel Sandy.
She's gone up here, and we see the lift's gone to Mel Sandy, so it just remains to be seen whether she'll make that move. The Kiwis don't seem to be going anywhere, so I think they probably expect that they'll be the next lifters. So
there's just a few seats there in that area. Oh, looks like Mel Sandy is heading towards the door.
Out, so
they've reached a number that she's comfortable to warm up and leave the warm-up area and head out to make her first attempt.
So Yurapa Melsandi from Indonesia. She will enter the competition in the women's 71 kilo snatch at 78 kilos on the bar here for her. First lift in the snatch. Should be happy with that.
Crowd showing their appreciation. She opened strong, and absolutely nothing to it. So let's see just exactly what this looks like from the side. Quick up, doesn't even hesitate from her bottom position. She knows she's got it balanced, just stands straight up with it, and done and dusted, as they say.
So for her final lift in the women's 71 kilo Group B, we have Piper Gwen from New Zealand. Successful lifts at 71 and 74 kilograms. Here with 78 kilograms on the bar. She had to work a bit harder there, didn't she?
Yeah, but you know what? A great start. It was majority decision. One of the referees saw something that they didn't like, but 2 out of 3 is enough to get a good lift.
Maybe we can see the front view here and pick something up.
So that's, you know what? It may have looked shaky, or well, not shaky, but it may have looked that she didn't necessarily have it as easy as everybody else.
Bit shaky in that right arm, maybe. That was.
I think that was muscles that were moving. I don't think that was joints, and it's got to be the joint that moves.
Well, 2 of the 3 referees liked it, and the jury saw no reason to intervene, so she walks away with a clean sheet. 71, 74, and 78, her 3 lifts in the snatch. We're with Fujita from Japan, 79 kilos on the bar, her first lift. Oh, wow, that was efficient.
A study of efficiency, I was just going to say. Just walked up, lifted it, dropped it, walked back, nothing to this. Very quick in every part of the motion, but not rushed. It appeared just everything
little
in
jump
its
back
time.
there.
Everything in its time, and she does it very well.
Yeah, she made very short work of that. Didn't muck around once she'd addressed the bar. And so, as we predicted, basically, that these 2 New Zealand women would lift out before the majority of the rest of the competition comes in, and we've got Samantha Hansen. This will be her final lift in the snatch. You're watching the women's 71 kilo B, and she's got 79 kilos on the bar. Well, our first miss.
Yes, and it looks like she lost it off the front, obviously. I'm going to expect that she probably didn't catch it very far back. We'll get a good chance to see that this is the best angle to see. So where does she catch it? Yeah, didn't even make it to her ears. She had no chance of putting that in the groove. Although one of the earlier ones, she caught it a little out front as well, but it was lighter. So she had an opportunity to step up and keep blocked out.
Yeah, you did point that out earlier with one of her lifts, that she was a little forward on it, but she managed to correct, and she just couldn't do it that time. So, Canadian lifter on the platform now.
Yeah, Jeanette Billen of British Columbia, Canada. This is her first attempt, 80 kilos.
And a shout out to all our viewers in British Columbia. We have 80 kilos on the bar for Beline from Canada. Looked pretty relaxed with that.
She did. She's a veteran. She's been lifting since she was a very young teenager. I've seen her lift for many years, and yeah, the platform is her place.
Yeah, well, she was second at the Pan American Youth Championships last year in the 69 kilo class. So she's another one of those athletes that just moved up ever so slightly with this new category. The 71 kilo class probably allowed her to put on just a little bit of extra weight, although she's still weighing in at 66.5, which was actually lighter than she lifted in the 69 kilos last year. So she has a bit of room to grow into this category, doesn't she?
Or maybe this is just a transitional point, and she's happy to be here lifting in this category, and will decide maybe at a later date that she may go down.
Yeah, and of course that's a really complex thing for these young athletes because their bodies are changing incredibly between the ages of 15 and 19 or 20, isn't it?
It's a huge commitment when an athlete decides that they're going to change their body weight. The International Weightlifting Federation, by changing the categories, has forced it on some of the athletes, but it's an opportunity. You can decide which direction you decide you want to go. But when you get to the point where you're at the top of a body weight category and it becomes more and more difficult to try and get under that barrier, it's time to move on. It's time to move up and hope the results will follow when you add more mass.
So we're with Ulzisai Khan from Mongolia, one of a couple of lifters from Mongolia, and she has 81 kilos in the bar, her first lift in the women's 71 kilo snatch.
Again, a very efficient lift, no messing around, over top, straight to full extension, and done.
3 Mongolians competing, all women, interestingly.
That is interesting. Bounce high off the hips, catches it behind her ears, a little bit of a step, but then becomes completely motionless in all parts of the body, and referees say, that's a good lift, you can put it down now.
So our next lifter up is Durante at her opening weight of 82 kilograms. There's a chance that she may move up there.
She has. Durante's moved up, and now we've got Fujita Akane of Japan asking for 82 for her second.
So Durante's moved up to 85 kilos. We still have 2 athletes, Ulzisai Khan and Fujita, calling for 82. But our lift is now with Akane Fujita from Japan, 82 kilos. Her second lift, first attempt at this weight.
First one was a model of efficiency. The second one, too far back. Let's see. I think it's probably going to see a bar path that's too far out from her core. And a little bit of a swing. Let's see. So she starts there, hip kick, and way too far behind her ears for her to hold on.
Yeah, she got a lot of bounce off the hips there, didn't she?
She did. They'll have a quick talk about it, and she'll come back out looking at the same weight, it looks like, and see if maybe that she can achieve the different result.
So we're coming towards the halfway point of the women's 71 kilo snatch here.
There's an opportunity to see Malsandi, I believe. No, that was Ulzisai Khan.
Ulzisai Khan from Mongolia out the back there. She's had one successful lift, and she's moved up to 84 kilograms. So we're waiting on Fujita, 82 kilograms. Durante from Italy is yet to enter the competition.
And it's interesting because Ulzisai Khan and Durante had entered the same entry totals. Ulzisai Khan has asked for a kilo less, while Durante is opening with a number of kilos more than her original thing, suggesting that maybe things are going well in the warm-up.
Yeah, she originally entered 82 kilograms, the weight we've got on the bar at the moment, but obviously feeling confident. But we're back with Akane Fujita from Japan. This will be her final lift in the women's snatch and her second attempt at 82 kilograms.
Problem fixed, successful lift.
Yeah, I suspect she'll be a bit disappointed with that second one because she looked really comfortable then, didn't she?
Yeah, there was the last thing that was a problem for her was the weight on the ball.
Yeah.
She had all the strength and the speed to get where she wanted to go. Again, a little bit of a wobble. It looked like she wanted to rock back a little on her heels, but brought it under control with less of a swing.
We could see there in that replay, as you pointed out, the trajectory of the bar much closer to her body. And Billen from Canada. So 3 lifters completed. Hanson at 75 best lift, Fujita 82 and Gwen 78. We're with Billen from Canada. 84 on the bar, her second lift in the women's snatch. First attempt at this weight. No lift there. We'll see from the side on replay just what went wrong for her there.
Yeah, she's disappointed, but she's got another chance to see if she can figure it out. Kick low off the lower end of the hips. Looks like it didn't go high enough. It looks like and a little bit in front, so she couldn't get it with her arms locked and bring it under control.
Well, she's got a bit of time to go away and think about how to correct that, Billen, because Ulzi Saikan from Mongolia is on the platform for her second lift. 84 kilos on the bar. Second lift in the competition, women's 71 kilo Group B, and her first attempt at this weight.
That is a wide grip. That bar is barely over top of her head, and it is a good, successful lift.
Yeah, she's very wide with that, isn't she?
The advantage is you don't have to move it as far up, but you're also, you know, you're widening everything. So, but yeah.
You're right, that's only just above the top of her head, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot. She's
so when she puts the arm down, she's actually got proportionally quite long arms, hasn't she? So they go down kind of mid-thigh almost for her. So
yeah, she's grabbing closer to the collars than I think we'll see any of the other athletes in this session. And it looks like the Italians are having a discussion as they send Durante out for her first attempt.
So final of our 7 athletes to enter the competition here. And this is Alessia Durante from Italy. She's got 85 kilos on the bar. First lift in the women's 71 kilo Group B snatch.
That was a look of determination.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the faces of some of the athletes. You saw Billen again previously,
yes,
and just completely relaxed, even in the lift that she missed.
Oh yeah. In fact, during the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, the newspaper did a whole banner, and it was just weightlifters' faces, and it ran a complete range of joy, pain, elation. It was an interesting little piece that they put in the paper.
If I had to broadly characterise it, so the Asians tend to look more emotion, less expressive of emotion. The Europeans perhaps more so. But we're with Mel Sunday, the Indonesian, 85 kilos on the bar.
She'll be happy with that. You could tell that it landed exactly where she was hoping it would, and she was quick to stand up with it because she knew she'd found the right spot and didn't want to do anything to interfere with it.
Obviously one of those athletes who perhaps started a little bit on the light side, took a 7 kilo increase there, which is a big jump.
Now, if we can do the front on replay here, I'd love to see this, because if you watch her butt and look how low she goes, but doesn't touch the platform. If her bottom touches the platform, that's a no lift. And that's pretty much as close as you can get without having a problem. In fact, it looks like the jury has stopped the competition just so they can watch that specific aspect of the lift, because that's the only thing that they could be watching. Her elbows were perfect up top from what I could see, and they just wanted to make sure that there was no touch in the bottom position.
If we can see that front on replay again, we might be able to tell whether she does actually make contact. At first looked, it looked like she was okay.
Yeah, no, there was no contact. And in fact, the jury has already said, let's play on with the play. Look at that.
Yeah, she's
no
very
touch,
close.
but no touch. But it's so close that in real time, it's difficult to see with just one look.
You could be forgiven for looking at that with the naked eye and thinking there could be a problem there, couldn't you?
Yeah, and that's what the jury says. They said, could be a problem, we want to watch it again, but obviously it turned out that it wasn't, and great lift for Indonesia.
So final lift for Billen from Canada, 85 kilos on the bar.
Jeanette is definitely pleased with that result. The referees are pleased as well. That is 3 white lights for Jeanette Billen of Canada.
Well, that's an improvement on her lift at the Pan American Youth Championships last year. So she looked happy, like that was possibly a PB for
her. Now you'll take a look. If you notice on the scoreboard, I don't know why, but Mel Sandy of Indonesia has declined her third attempt in the snatch. She will not come out for a third. The second looked fantastic. So hopefully it's not an injury or anything. Hopefully it's maybe strategy saving her for the clean and jerk portion, but she will not come out. She's retired from the remainder of the snatch portion.
We saw that with one of the other Indonesian athletes yesterday, I think, one of the men who declined his third lift in both the snatch and the clean and jerk, despite actually looking really good.
Yeah, so maybe it's a conservation tactic, I'm not sure, but yeah, she is not coming out and looked great. So hopefully it's all good things.
So we're Ulzi Saikan from Mongolia, her third lift. She's been good to this point, but that was a bit beyond her.
Yeah, that's one of the detriments of that wide grip. Is it's easier to loose it off the front or the back, because you've got less stable. But based on her levers, it looks like that may be the right place for her to grab it. So yeah, definitely swung it back too far and didn't have the ability to stabilize it and bring it up.
So 6 athletes completed, as we see Billen from Canada there compose herself ahead of the clean and jerk. But we have Durante from Italy, who has 2 lifts remaining.
Yeah, she's going to call for 89 on this one, and we'll see. Probably expect, well, we'll see if she has success before we try and decide what they might go for on their third attempt.
She's got another crack at that.
Let's see the reception she gets from her coaches as she goes back. Okay, they don't seem that concerned. That's good to know. That's more of a discussion.
She seems pretty relaxed too, as we see the replay here.
Just too far back for her. A little too much of a swing. She needs to get it behind her ears, but it's getting a little more animated.
I think you can see the Italian coach there, the hip movement suggesting, as you did, that probably got a bit too much momentum off the hip to hold it up for her.
They're not that concerned, though. They're asking for more.
Yeah, here we go.
They've gone from 89 kilos to 90 kilos. Missed at 89. And again, we talked about this yesterday. Sometimes it's just superstition. We missed it that weight. Let's try a different one. We'll see just exactly if there is a difference in the execution.
Well, in fact, talking with Simon Kent, who's also been doing some commentary with us last night, we had an instance with one of the Korean lifters who missed forward, missed back at the same weight, and the coaches then added 2 or 3 kilos, I think it was.
Yeah.
His theory with that from a coaching perspective was that if you get the lifter to lift exactly the same as the other two, they'll find their middle ground with it.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe this is what she needs, just that extra kilo.
Yeah, and Dahoon made that lift.
Yeah, that's right. So Durante, 90 kilos, the final lift in the women's 71 kilo B snatch.
Whatever they did, it was right.
Yep. Fanning her as we watch Hansen come out. She looked like she was more affected by the heat than Hansen, didn't she?
Yeah, and now we'll see Hansen's opening first. So this may be an athlete, you know, who is better with the technique of the snatch. And Gwyn may be the athlete who is physically stronger, and that'll manifest itself in the clean and jerk.
So we've got Hansen from New Zealand, 94 kilos, as we begin the clean and jerk in the women's 71 kilo Group B. Again, she looks solid there.
Yeah, she's put that miss at 79 kilos behind her with a solid opener at 94 kilos. Okay, good pull. A little low on the hip kick, but she caught it where she needed to. A little bit of an adjustment there just to make sure that she's got her breath. And she's going to dip and go.
Yeah, and she didn't have a very deep dip there, did she?
No, she didn't need it. She was good. The deeper you go, it throws more of a potential for front-back movement or anything else to go wrong. You want to take the right amount of dip. And the other thing is I've actually seen athletes dip too low, force it way up, and they couldn't control it because it was too light. It didn't land in the right spots.
Yeah, so we're already seeing a little bit of that byplay here. Hansen's moved up to 97. Gwyn's moved up to 99.
So this puts Hansen on a 2-minute clock, as she'd be following herself in lifting order, and they will manipulate this. They'll let it go down. They just have to make a declaration or a change in the first 30 seconds, and then they've got all 90 seconds before the last 30 to make their final change. So they'll probably go a couple more seconds here before they decide that they're going to change the weight and put Gwyn on the clock. Oh, they're using another change for Hansen before they... I wonder if they're going to send her out at 98.
Yeah, so they've gone early there. They probably had another 30 seconds to wait before making that change.
Which makes me wonder if maybe Hansen is going to come out here. They still have 30 more seconds to make any changes they need to, but it looks like Hansen's standing up and putting on her belt, so Hansen is coming back out.
Okay, so Hansen with her second lift here. She was successful at 94 kilograms. Samantha Hansen from New Zealand. Second lift in the women's 71 kilogram Group B in the clean and jerk.
Very similar to the first so far. Not exactly a carbon copy, but pretty close. So she's keeping her everything consistent, which means that she's well within the weights that she can be comfortably expected to lift.
Yeah, it was a bit more work for her to see as she was leaving the platform, just breathing a bit harder than after the first attempt, but she looked relatively comfortable.
Yeah, she's pretty much the same here. She's going to bob her head a little back and forth, get her big breath, and go. Snappy, front foot back foot forward, motionless, and down.
So now Gwyn has moved up to 100. So those starting weights are proving to be a little deceptive in terms of the other competitors.
Well, in Gwyn's case, yes, but in Hansen's case, she's pretty much held to form. So what they've probably done is realized that Gwyn's having a great day. They'll give her a little more room to play, and they'll keep Hansen on form for what she was originally going to do. And again, that takes away a little bit of the strategic possibilities, but right now they're calling Gwyn at 100 kilos, and I'm not even sure that she's going to be the athlete that comes out yet, and she is.
Yes, she is.
Sent her out.
So Piper Gwyn from New Zealand. This will be her first lift in the clean and jerk section. This is her best lift in the snatch of 78 kilos. 100 kilos on the bar, women's 71 kilo group B.
I'm thinking the clean and jerk is her lift.
Yeah, she was good there.
Yeah, again, it didn't look easy, but it's not supposed to look easy. It's not supposed to be easy. They're supposed to be near the top end of their physical limitations, but not a problem.
See replay here, yeah.
Side angle, good catch. Straight up, she's still got some hop in her. And boom, front foot back, back foot front, and she's done.
I wonder if she's not just one of those athletes who wouldn't matter whether she was lifting a piece of paper or a big barbell, whether it just looked stressful for her, because she looked pretty much the same in the snatch from bottom to top weight, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. So this is obviously just what she does and how she does it. And I guess we're going to have to discount what we see on her face, because it's no indication of just exactly what she's capable of. Yeah,
and a Hansen who looked just really kind of smooth and almost elegant through the two early snatches, and then she failed at 79.
Yeah.
But Samantha Hansen is back on the platform, and this will be her final lift of this 71 kilo women's Group B competition. And we have 101 kilos on the bar. That was hard work.
Yes, it is. Hope she's got the energy to just snap this up quickly. Get it over with. Yep. It looked like she is probably one of these athletes who is stronger in the second phase than she is in the first. In other words, if she can clean it, she'll be able to jerk it. That jerk did not look difficult for her, but the clean sure had some struggle and some work involved.
Yeah, we'll see that here in the replay. She has to work really hard. Little bounce there, but uses that momentum to get up.
But she didn't use up all her energy. She still had plenty, so that when she gets ready and she drops and pushes straight up, it's no problem at all.
So we're seeing our third athlete up on the platform now, and that's Jeanette Dillon from Canada. And she'll enter the competition at 102 kilograms. She didn't waste any time there between the clean and jerk.
No, absolutely no hesitation between the clean and the jerk for Billen today. She started she finished third in the snatch portion, but she's opening fairly early here in the clean and jerk compared to the other athletes with 102 kilos being called for by 3 of the athletes. So I guess she's opening middle of the pack. Very quick. No hesitation between the snatch and between her clean and her jerk, and a look of that she's quite pleased with that.
Well, and if you take Hansen out of that, who began at 94 kilos, there's 5 athletes between 100 and 104, and then there's a big jump then to Mel Sandy at the moment from Indonesia, is what her entry weight for the clean and jerk is.
And maybe that was the strategy with the skipping that last attempt. It's easier to lift big weights 4 times than it is to lift them 6, I guess.
Well, we're with Ulzi Sarkhan from Mongolia. One of 3 women from Mongolia competing at these World Junior Weightlifting Championships. And she's got 102 kilos on the bar for her first lift in the clean and jerk.
Very efficient. I was watching her grip to try and figure out, because she did have an extra wide grip, I thought, in the snatch, and I wanted to see just exactly where she went. She was a little bit wider than shoulder width, but nothing unusual.
So very quickly up after that is Fujita. She's wasting no time.
And this is what I expected that this session would look like. Athlete, 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 athlete. Very little time between these lifts.
103 kilos on the bar for Fujita in her first lift. She's through the clean and comfortably through the jerk.
And again, just no wasted motion whatsoever.
Well, I think the word that we used for her first and her last snatch, both of which she was successful at, was efficient.
Yes, yes. There's a she does what she needs to do, and nothing outside of that. No big movement back and forth. Not wasting time. And to a certain extent, she looked like she benefited a little bit from the bounce. The bar was still moving. The athlete and the bar, the athlete must become motionless between the clean and the jerk, but the bar doesn't have to. And as long as you're not deliberately making it go up and down, aka if it's naturally going up and down and you lift it, if you hit it at the right timing, there's a benefit for you. And it looked to me like she caught it on the bounce and did a good job.
Yeah, we've seen a number of the athletes be able to use that technique just to get a little bit of extra momentum. So we were waiting for Ulzi Sarkhan. We're now waiting for Durante. And it looks like we might have Gwen from New Zealand. So 5 of the 7 women have had at least one lift. Well, we're not going to see Fujita, who's listed. She's just lifted at 103, so she'll move that up for sure to at least 105, but it looks like we're going to get Durante.
Yeah, the Italian coaches are confident enough that she's out there, even though the clock is not on her. It is on Mel Sandy right now, but Durante is, I think they believe that they know something that hasn't happened yet, and are ready to go.
Look like they're sending the Italian back into the change rooms, and here comes Mel Sandy. So, oh, she's got a restart on the clock, so she's got a little more time. She's down to about 36 seconds just before.
Yeah, I don't know if the Italians assumed that she would be going up with her first attempt, but it was clear that it was going to be Mel Sandy, and I don't know if they anticipated a move that the Indonesians were going to make, and that they turned out that they did not.
Well, Milsandy's come right back down. She was listed as 110 kilos to enter the competition just a moment ago.
And depending on when that change was made, it may have appeared that Durante would be up first.
So after all that, we're with Milsandy from Indonesia, 105 kilos on the bar. No problem there.
No, and again, what I was watching for after that first attempt was her bottom position. And she got very low, and there was a bounce, but she was not, she was a couple of centimeters higher than she had been in that snatch that they decided that they really needed to watch again and again. And she may have been saved by the backs of her calves and her shoes there. She may have gone lower had her shoes not been at that exact spot.
Yeah, otherwise she looked pretty strong there. Yep. Didn't seem to bother her at 105 kilos. So Durante, she rolls the bar forward again on the platform.
A steady clean. A little bit of a foot adjustment and a fast jerk. That may have been an early light. That was early lights. That means that they did not like the lift. No lift for Durante on this one. 105 kilos turned down on her initial attempt. We're going to take another look at this just to see just exactly what the offense was. She's good through the clean. Nothing sticking out there that would indicate that she should be receiving. I think it's the close elbow here to our position on the camera that seem to have, the joints seem to have moved. No chance to watch it again as we've got Gwyn, New Zealand. This is her second attempt in the clean and jerk, 105 kilos, and her first bite at this weight. She previously took 100.
Looks like such hard work in that bottom part for her, but she's up.
And again, I think it's just looks because it may be difficult, but not too difficult. It's a good lift for Gwyn.
So I was talking to Simon Kent, who's been one of our co-commentators, also one of the New Zealand coaches, and he was saying it's a real feature of the Oceania lifters, including those from Australia and New Zealand, that they're very, very strong in the jerk. So once they can get through that clean, they proportionally are successful in a very high number of lifts.
And I don't know if you, I'd love to, I think we've got the time. If we can get that replay once again, you will notice that there's no hip bounce. She doesn't, she keeps it close to her body, but she doesn't benefit from the bounce that many of the athletes will do by slamming it into their hip bones and up. I don't think we'll have time to see that, though.
We can possibly come back to that in a next lift and have a look at that again. But we're with Billen now. 105 kilos on the bar, her second lift. Nope, too heavy for her.
Yep. I think she caught it a little bit too far up front and couldn't rock it back and go. That was, it'll be disappointing for Billen, but she's got plenty of energy to come back. So let's see, that you can see the hip bounce there. And yeah, it pushed back a little too far back on her, pushed her slightly past her heels, and to bail, she had to push the barbell out front to be safe.
So we're currently waiting for Fujita.
So here's the previous one I was talking about. You will see that she has no hip push when she cleans that bar. There's no hip push. It's completely straight up there, and it's all muscle all the way. So that may be why it's making her work, or appear to be working, that much harder than the other athletes.
Yeah, and that from that point on with the jerk, she looked very strong, didn't she?
Yeah. As you were saying, Simon says that the jerks are good for the Oceania athletes if they can clean it.
So we've got Durante from Italy, Alessia Durante. And this is her second lift. Second attempt at this weight of 105 kilos. Unsuccessful at her first.
Wow, too easy. She's going to be kicking herself because that was so easy for her, and she did not get it on the first attempt.
Well, no problem from the referees there, so she is one of two athletes who's completed 105 kilos. The other is Belle Sandy. And we've got Billen out now for her second attempt at 105 kilos as we see the end of Durante's lift there. She looked very strong there.
The crowd is maybe adopting Billen. There was a pretty loud cheer for an athlete from so far away.
There's been a fair bit of noise each time she's come out, hasn't there?
She got it further along the process, but not far enough.
Well, that ends her competition in this women's 71 kilogram Group B. And she will bow out with a best lift of 102 in the clean of jerk. And that gives her a total of 187 kilos after an 85 kilogram lift in the snatch. And it looks like we're back to the Mongolian.
Here we go.
Yes. Ulzi Khan from Mongolia. The first attempt at 106 kilos. Yeah, very solid.
Yeah, nothing to this.
3 white lights from the judges, so she'll be happy with that.
Making moving 100 and some odd kilos look easy.
Yeah.
Now we've got Durante. She's on a 1 kilo increase after success at 105, so
yeah,
I doubt that we'll see her come out just yet.
No, I'm sure she'll move up there.
Which means that our likely next candidate is Fujita.
Fujita, yeah. She's nominated 108 kilograms for Fujita. And she's buying a little more time here because the automatic increase at 107's gone to Ulzi Khan, but I'm sure that'll change in the next few moments.
Yeah, the first one didn't look hard enough that that she would only take 1 more kilo.
No, she's been good in both those lifts, hasn't she?
There we go.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see Ulzi Khan on her third clean and jerk because she looked really in control through the first 2 snatches, but then got to 86 kilos and we expected her to get it.
And again, the pattern may be repeating because the first 2 were easy.
Yeah.
As much as it can be easy to lift that kind of weight.
Yes, well, she looked in control, shall we say. Fujita, 108 kilograms, her second lift. A little bounce at the bottom, but she's up.
There's a little bit of an elbow wobble, and no lift.
Left elbow?
Actually, it looked like both from here, but again, we're further back, so I'm...
if we see the front on replay, we'll be able to...
I don't have the advantage of the 4-meter positioning of the 3 technical officials that made that initial call.
So as a referee, when you're down the front here, are you looking at both elbows, or are you concentrating on one and hoping someone else picks the other one up?
Well, if you're the center referee, you're looking at everything in its totality, which is interesting because you have to, there's potential violations down low at the same time as there's potential violations down high. So you have to kind of remove yourself almost a little bit back and just try and take it all in. And the side referees, it's you concentrate on what you can see. And from certain angles, there's things you just can't see, and you have to rely on your brothers and sisters in blue to pick those things up.
See Fujita on screen there. She's still on the clock here at 108 kilograms. Hasn't given any indication that she will move up. But she's moved up now to 110. That might be a good move actually from Fujita, because it was only really that minor issue of straightening her elbow that was the problem.
The tiniest issue that it's interesting, because some coaches will say, well, you know, we really need to get that lift, and some coaches will say, you know what, we got that lift. Let's move on. Let's get the next one. Stick to the plan.
Well, that's right. And that's the advantage of having a lift up your sleeve here. So we're at 109 kilograms, and Ulzi Saikan from Mongolia will be our third athlete to complete her program in the women's 71 kilo Group B. This her final lift in the clean and jerk. 109 kilos on the bar.
According to your prediction. Well played.
Yeah, well, very similar trajectory to the snatch.
Yeah, she was successful with the first two, and then easily, and then made the third, did not make the third. The same thing in the clean and jerk situation, as you called. Yeah, just too much. She thought she could get up with it, and then it pinned her right back down, and she could have tried to get up with it again, but it's tough to make your mind do that after you've felt it that first time.
Well, that's the end of her competition, and we now see Piper Gwen. And she's coming out with 110 kilos on the bar. This will give her a total of 188 kilograms. She's successful.
I believe that'll be a pretty good number for her.
It certainly looks like it from her previous history. So Gwen, New Zealand, 110 kilos. I think we'll see there from the side exactly what you said before about the transition.
I was so hoping that she would make that. I just thought it would be just fitting that everything looked hard and everything was made. But 5 for 6 performance from her here. She catches it where she wants to, but again, no hip bounce. So everything that she's got there is from the pole.
Yeah, and in fact, when you see that replay from the side, the bar only made contact with her thighs just above her knee, so she was coming from very low. We're with Durante now, also at 110 kilos. This is also her final lift in the clean and jerk.
Again, making that first miss that much more impactful. The second and the thirds, easy in appearance for her at 110 kilos. No problems with her process. Coaches are now happy. And Durante, good to the clean, doesn't even hesitate very much. Dips and goes behind her ears, tight, no wandering around the platform, and a yell of exhalation. And congratulations to Durante.
So that'll give Durante a 200 kilogram total, which is very respectable in this B group. Here's Fujita, third and final lift. It's also got 110 kilos.
A nod, a bow, and a day's work done.
Yeah, and we saw there the coaches took her up from that 108, gave her 110. did it comfortably.
Yeah. They did not exceed their grasp. They knew where they were going to go. I'm sure that they would have gone to 110 or 111, 112, even if that mess had not happened. I don't think that they varied much from the plan.
So here's our final lifter in the women's 71 kilogram Group B. And she has 2 lifts remaining. Yurapa Melsandi from Indonesia.
A 6 kilo jump is a pretty big jump for an athlete of this weight category.
Yeah, she's currently got a best lift of 105. So this is her second lift and her first attempt at 111 kilos.
She's asked for quiet from the crowd.
Again, she's very low there.
Yeah, she's incredibly flexible.
She's got 3 white lights, so the judges liked it, and I'm sure we'll see from the front on replay here just how low she gets.
I'm curious as to whether she's going to come out for her third. So here we go. Definitely low, but there's no contact with that platform. Even with the bouncing down there at the bottom. You can bounce as many times as you want before you come up. And the jerk, a little bit of right to left motion there, but nothing to it.
Well, and the interesting question here, it does look from that like she's going to take a final lift here, but she declined her third attempt in the snatch and was happy with the 85 kilos. She's looking at 116 kilos here, so this would actually showing a little bit of the competitiveness amongst the women. This will put her in first place in this group, 71 kilos Group B.
And maybe that's why she didn't. She knew that she at 85 she wasn't going to beat the 90 kilos that had already been put up, and that was going to be put up, and she already had second. Maybe that's why she. The mystery deepens. I just don't understand why she didn't take that lift.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was some small injury concern, or maybe they felt that she was at a limit there, and as you say, they were trying to save her for the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
It's unusual. I mean, it's only happened, other than injury, I've only seen that happen once before in the 4 days. Yeah.
Well, she showed no sign of being hurt on that last attempt, so.
Yeah, and interestingly, I'm reasonably sure it was another Indonesian athlete, and he declined his final lift in both the snatch and the clean and jerk after being clear in the first 2. So who knows what goes on, but this will be the final lift of the competition. Women's 71 kilo Group B. Yurapa Melsandi, and she has 116 kilos.
Again, she asked for silence from the crowd, and they comply.
Oh yeah, she just got down a bit too low there.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see with the front on replay if we can hear that the backside crashes into the platform.
Well, you know, and from here, I'm not even sure that it was the backside. It might have been the elbows and the knees. Yeah, that was the knee touch.
Yeah,
I saw the knee touch, but I didn't see. Again, you can't see everything in one look. And
we might be able to have a quick look at that again while we're transitioning to the next group to see if the backside actually touches the ground as well.
Okay, let's watch it. We know that the elbow's going to touch the knee on the her left.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Multiple violations.
Yeah, so she was
multiple simultaneous violations. There you go.
It wouldn't have mattered where you were looking there. You were going to pick up something.
You were going to be hitting a red button. Correct.
Well, that concludes the women's 71 kilo Group B competition.
Yeah, with first place after